Another month, another Endfield patch, 1.2 with new recipes, a new outpost, taking new mats, and new headaches. So the good news is, unlike 1.1 where everyone had to tear down their old battery factories and make the new ones, 1.2's new stuff is additive to 1.1. That means the old base can largely be left alone, which is what I did. And probably not very coincidentally, all the new stuff fits in one single outpost. So regardless of your situation, whether you use only the hub or you use the hub plus one sub pack in Jingyu, all the new stuff, which again is additive, you don't need to tear down any of your old stuff, can be made in the new outpost. So I made some blueprints that takes advantage of that. It just makes the new Heavy Xiranite and the new Hetonite parts and components in the new outpost. Yeah, so so far all the stuff that I've done, someone has remade on NA and EU, the other server. I'm on Asia and my codes work only on Asia, so there probably will be an update in the Reddit thread, corresponding Reddit thread with the NA EU blueprints as well. So, requirements to actually do this. The first thing is you need to be making the 12 per minute SC battery from 1.1. This is basically because the Inert Xircon Effluent, that is the byproduct of that, everyone is sinking it, but in 1.2 it becomes useful because it can be recycled into more zircon, and that's what I'm using. So yeah, non-negotiable, you need to be making 12 per minute SC Wuling battery. You can't be making the LC still. If you're not making the SCs, you probably want to use someone else's blueprint for 1.2, or alternatively go back and find a 1.1 tutorial that uses up 12 per minute SC. I mean, I have one as well, but I'm not a content creator. I explain things like shit, so Kyostin's guide is really good for that. This is just a stand-in for 1.2 while Kyostin works on his 1.2 guide. I know he's very diligent in making sure anything works. So, like I said, the requirement is having 12 per minute SC, and the other requirement is having unlocked the new area and upgraded it to max size, which is 50 times 50. I'll show the upgrade later. So what you want to do is, wherever your batteries are being made, you want to gather up all the Inert Xircon Effluent. And because I'm a fucking idiot who made this circular monstrosity, my reactors doing that are on the cardinal direction, so I actually needed to go one big round. I had to gather up all the Inert Xircon and then send it into a conduit. Most other folks will have this all grouped up somewhere, so it's just like gather them and send them in the conduit. I have it here, so it's just going in a clockwise circle and then coming back here and going to the conduit. This conduit wants to be sent all the way to the new outpost. If your base here is really compact, you have space, you can actually do the Heavy Xiranite here, and I think, like, looking at the blueprint that I did, you probably will understand how to do it yourself. But for me, again, because of this monstrosity, I decided to do everything in the outpost. So I'm sending it to conduit. 2 per second from 4 machines going to the conduit, and then it literally goes through the city all the way, oh shit, come on, all the way down and all the way through Ling Shui, all the way here. And I'll show an example of, actually from here. It's basically a series of conduits being connected to each other. There's one over there. You can see one pair of them. So this is what it looks like. Basically, this one connects up the line, and then this one connects all the way to the next one. I'll run to the outpost from here just to show a little bit of that conduit run. This is a pain in the ass, but like I said, the alternative is to make Heavy Xiranite at the hub or wherever else you're making the battery. I'm assuming it's hub because that thing takes up a lot of space, not gonna lie. But yeah, if you're like me and you want to do the new stuff in the outpost just because it's additive and it doesn't mess with anything else, then by all means, you have to do the conduit run, and once the conduit run is done, then you'll be ready to set up the rest of the stuff. So there's a conduit, connects to here. By here I mean further on. Ah, fuck, why do I keep running into this fucking pool? Like, literally every single time we talk to game. So this is the last pair of conduits I have. This is taking the Inert Xircon Effluent from my hub all the way here. It's about 8 or 10, around there. So it took me about like 10 minutes to set this up, but after that I don't need to worry about it anymore. So here's the outpost. Like I said, it's been upgraded to the maximum size, 50 times 50. Yep. You basically need area expansion 1 and 2. I think just the unlock Wuling depot bus should be enough for what I did, because I'm only using 2 segments. There's an explanation of the maths for all this later, but I'm just going to go through the blueprints first, just because I think that's what most people viewing this video want to get through. So, orienting the liquids on the left side is just easier for me to brain that way. So I have 2 blueprints. The first is Heavy Xiranite. The second is Hetonite. I put the Heavy Xiranite on top when aligned with this the assets on the left side, and just put it on the top left like that. There's only 1 tile it can fit horizontally, because that's how big the thing is. Put it here. So this should be all the Heavy Xiranite stuff. It should be self-sufficient to make Heavy Xiranite without needing to put this down. There are some connections that need to be made, obviously, but just as I fucked. Just gonna stash this. I'm going to fix the blueprint, but for me, with this unfixed blueprint, what? It still will not place? What is overlapping? What are you talking about? Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna fix these 2 belts so you won't have to delete this too, but my version of blueprint does not have that fixed yet. There we go. See, so you can see the free pipes. The free pipes here are like there's no gap in between them, and then you should see like all this connects properly. All right, so this conduit is the receiver for the Inert Xircon. I would say that after you bring it all the way here, it probably makes more sense to like start sinking it here first as a temporary measure while you're setting up the base here, just so that your batteries don't cut off. But I mean, if you got a lot of batteries, then it doesn't really matter, because this won't take all that long. So this is the last one. This is where, again, this is where the Inert Xircon comes out, the effluent. I'm gonna connect it to the last pair that is bringing it all the way from the hub. Over here, for me at least. Everyone's probably gonna have a different headache bringing it over. So that's connected, and you can see the fluids are starting to go. Again, I'll explain everything later, but let me just show what's the necessary connection setups first. So we're gonna need 5 water pumps and 2 acid pumps. So you need the new pumps as well. But just I'll just put down the water pumps first. Do I not have them? I should have them. Am I blind? Fuck it. Let me just set up my. Okay, let me get out the pumps. There we are. Alright. This is a Mark II. Sigh. I'm so bad at this game. Alright, so... Sorry, I'm just gonna... borrow this spot. You can continue fishing if you want, it's not a problem. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I will have to put a pylon here though, so good luck coming back out. It's not my problem. Alright, I need 3 more. Apparently I don't even have enough, I don't know how, like... Construction. I might have put like the Mark IIs there by accident. Alright, so that's 1, 2, I said I need 5 waters. Place 3. 4, 5. I need to power them, obviously. Alright, how these work is the 2 outer ones connect and the middle one is by itself. So 2 connect here, middle one by itself. These 2 connect as well. I really hate building stuff outside the AIC, like it's so clunky. So pipe converger here. And pipe converger on the outer 2 as well here. Let's connect it. Connect this one as well. Connect this. Connect this one as well. Alright, so this is the first pipe. I'm gonna just go on the outside border of this AIC area. Connects to this one. And then this solo pipe goes in the middle. Remember, the solo pipe goes in the middle. To here. In the middle, like that. The last one goes here. There we go. So all 3 of them connected. And like I said, I need the acid pumps, 2 of them. Same thing, they get merged. Wow, coincidentally, it actually, oh no, it doesn't line up. It's off by a tile. And it connects here. Alright, that actually should be it, unless I brain farted something or another. Oh, right. I did not actually even like add the fucking plants. I should have done that before doing anything else, because they do take some time to propagate. So along the top is sand leaf, surprise. And then these are all Yajin. Or you can use Jinchao as well, either or, because they they could burn into more carbon. It's 4 of them. Sorry, 3 of them. Along the bottom. Along the middle, rather. There we go. So everything should start. Sand leaf is coming in, the Yajin is becoming carbon, the carbon is being refined, and then the Xiranite will start flowing. So these are already being made, it looks like. So yeah, if you're making 6 per minute Yajin from 1.1, you're going to have to cut that down to 3 per minute because there's only 180 coolprim, and this is 120 from 4 of them, so there's only 2 left over. While this is booting up, let me just go through the updates in 1.2 and how that affects the Outpost stock builds and the new Outpost and all that. First of all, the extra resources that we have in 1.2 is just 60 coolprim from this map. And literally that's it. There's 4 more forges as well, so everyone can make 120 more Xiranite per minute as well. But in terms of ore that you go out and tap, it's literally just 1, 2, 3, 4 for 60 extra coolprim. That's reflected in the stats page here. So it used to be 120, now it's 180. So like I said, if you're previously using 120 per minute coolprim to make 6 per minute Yajin Syringe, that needs to be cut down to half of that. Just underfeed it, it should work fine. Just because it used to be 4 lanes, 2 going into bottles, 2 going into parts. You can just cut 1 each and it should work out. It obviously depends how the sewage is being sent to the batteries though, if that makes the sewage underfeed, then you will unfortunately need to send the sewage back from here back to the base. But the new reactors actually do circumvent a lot of that. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, if you need to send the sewage back, then you need to send the sewage back. Just as a heads up. So this is going already, you can see it. So my total production for this is, as of this particular layout, is 6 per minute Heavy Xiranite, which is the full input, but it's being divided into 3 going into the new components, and the other 3 is being stored. My mistake. It's only using 1.5, so 4.5 total goes to the depot to become trade goods to sell. And the reason for that is I'm making 3 per minute of this new Hetonite part, and that 3 per minute is being divided into 1.5 and 1.5. So I'm storing 1.5 Hetonite part per minute, 1.5 going into here, and it's 1.5 and 4.5. So I'm making 0.75 of the new Hetonite component per minute. It's not a lot, but so far it doesn't seem like that many characters have new best in slot material for this, at least for now. I mean, the theory crafting might change. So it's different from when the coolprim components came out and everyone just needed a whole bunch of those. But yeah, so all that being said, the blueprint should work already with just that much of setup. I know this video is about 20 minutes already, but discounting the pre-explanation and the run, making the Inert Xircon run all the way from the hub to here, this can be set up in like literally 2 minutes flat. In 5 water pumps in a pair of 2, 1, 2, and then 2 acid here. So I'm going to explain the maths behind this now. We have 4 extra forges. We need 3 extra forges to make 1 line of Heavy Xiranite here. So it's this one. You can see the belts are feeding into this. So these 3 forges are kind of like reserved to make Heavy Xiranite. The last one is just free, just making Xiranite by itself, and it's going into the protocol stash. The reason this is largely separate and additive to the previous stuff is, even though you got more forges, we cannot make more batteries because the amount of originum on the map is still the same as it was last patch, 480. So it is still 2 lines of SCs for 12 per minute SC. Like, nobody can make more than that because the originum literally is not there to do that. And yeah, I did go over what the extra coolprim is and how the maths works out. So again, just to reiterate, if I'm making a full line here of 4 of them to feed into this, then the other side has only 60 cuprium left to make the either Yajin A or even like cuprium components or whatever the old setups were. So that needs to be adjusted down. But how this works is the cuprium is dissolved in acid to make this new cuprium solution, and this takes 2 per second cuprium solution to make half a second of this hetonite. And what I'm doing here is just daisy chaining them to make this very, very compact. I know there are some people who have made like 1, 2, 3, 4 separate things with pipes going all over the place. You don't need to do that, and this is proof that you don't, because this is 2 per second acid coming in. Although I'm only using 1.5, I'll get into that in a bit. And the output is 2 per second of the new cuprium solution, like being daisy chained out. If you click all of them, you can see like it daisy chains on the right side. So all the stuff that's coming from there, it just passes it on into this purification unit. And I said I'm using only 1.5. The reason is the last one is this thing is making another 30 per minute acid, like 1 machine's worth. So this is actually looping back around into the last machine here. So out of this 3 of them are using fresh acid, and the last one is using the loop back. This technically should be actually prone to clogging, especially with the inaccuracy of the offline simulation, but so far I've not had any problems at all, and this has been running for a few hours before I dismantle it and remade it for this video. And then the resulting Hetonite fluid comes in here. It gets added to the ferrum, and then like I said, it goes into the fitting unit to make the parts. The parts are divided half and half, so 3 per minute parts, half of it goes into trade goods and half of it comes here. If you want more Hetonite components, you can just like remove this belt, this thing that's going to the depot loader. So what that's going to do is make more of this. It goes up to 1.5 per minute instead of 0.75 per minute, at the cost of eating all the parts and more of the Heavy Xiranite. So this actually goes slightly below the threshold of the 2 outposts at level 1. I mean, the 2 outposts with the new one at level 1. The amount of stock bills you generate, it will be at a slight deficit, but if you had a lot of stuff stocked up before then, you can probably tank it for a while to make more parts short term. But yeah, my recommendation would be to actually leave it like that. And yeah, and when you're making this, probably don't make any out of the other parts, just because again you won't have enough trade goods for the outpost. So speaking of the outpost, like I said, I know I keep repeating this, 1.2 is additive to 1.1. All the stuff is new. You're not like tearing down a battery line to make new batteries or whatever. And so yeah, I did go over the new parts, which is the Heavy Xiranite and the cuprium, well, this Hetonite part. Those 2 are trade goods which are now accepted by the outpost. So this one now actually takes a Hetonite part, and it's fucking expensive actually, because this part is not like the other parts. It takes a lot of processing and it condenses from like 10:1 ratio, which is why it's so expensive. And then the other side takes a Heavy Xiranite. In theory, the Yajin Syringe and Jinchao Tea and the new Hetonite parts take the exact same raw resources. Like I said, it just takes cuprium, and I did a comparison of the 2. Sorry, I'm going to do a comparison of the 2. For the same amount that makes 1 Hetonite part, you can make 2 Yajin Syringe A, which is 44 trade bills, and instead of doing that, you can make 48 trade bills, stock bills. But for the time being, you might still want to make the syringe anyway, because at level 1, this new outpost only takes the Yajin Syringe A and the Jinchao Tea. It does not take the Hetonite parts. We don't know if that's going to change when it levels up to 2. But yeah, for now, I'm leaving my syringe up, even though it's adding up to less than the part, just because this outpost needs it. That might change when it levels up to 2. If it does, I'll change the description, the YouTube description, just to match the new info. But yeah, and the Heavy Xiranite is basically free extra stock builds because we have 4 extra forges. Those extra forges are not doing anything because we don't have enough originum to make another battery line. So it's either make Heavy Xiranite or don't, and it's just basically wasted. I guess you could use like 100 forges to make fertilizer if you really wanted to, but what's the point of that, right? So 6 per minute Heavy Xiranite is another like 27 times 6 per minute. It is hefty. It adds up to almost like 10k per hour total, and obviously everyone knows this dreaded number of 36k per hour. So, what else? I think that's about it. There's a lot more nerdy maths that I will probably like go into in the YouTube description, but that stuff is just much easier to parse as text than me talking about it. So yeah, if there's any like problems with the blueprints or whatever, let me know. I probably have not thought about many edge cases because this was largely to add on to what I had. I think it should work for most people, especially if you satisfy the pre-requirement of already making 12 per minute SC batteries, and this is plug and play. It should be. You should still be able to make the Coprium and Xiranite parts in your old setup if you had them. You just have to be aware that the margins for this stock build generation is tight enough that if you're making a lot of parts, you will go negative and you will not be able to get all the stock builds. And Lord knows we need all the stock builds because the shop has expanded again. There's so much weekly stuff now. But yeah, I've been talking for almost half an hour. Hopefully this helps, and if it doesn't, just wait for the better content creators to make more understandable videos. But for now, if you need something to tide you over for these few days while people verify the setups and all that, yeah, this blueprint is available. Hopefully it'll be around on NAEU as well in a couple of days or so, when hopefully someone remakes it there. So yeah, again, if there's any questions, just drop them in the comments or just DM me or whatever. I'll try to help.